Hey, what's going on, guys? This is JP.
This is the Bug.
This is JC.
This is Flash. This is Denny Hendricks.
And you are listening to
And you are listening to
And you're listening to
And you're listening to the Run and Gun Podcast.
What's going on?
How y'all doing,
family?
everybody?
Hey, get it, bro? I'm just riding with you.
We got a wonderful show planned for you. Jay Peeps will possibly be joining us later due to some technical difficulties. But for now, we have our producer and no slouch himself, co-host of Fighter Share, Brew. Say what's up, there. Say
What's
up,
going on,
Brew.
everybody? For some reason, I ain't on there, but that's okay. There I go. What an intro.
We're making it work. He computer issues and slowness. He
It's all right,
didn't
though.
start it at noon, but we gonna get it right. Right now it's the Jam Brew show,
And we're going to ride it out. I can't wait. I'm excited. All right, looks like we got 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
All right, now in the NBA, Golden State versus Brooklyn. What was your reaction from that?
Well, listen, I have a hard time at the beginning of the season anyway, because teams are never what they're going to be like halfway or at the end of the season. So I do think Brooklyn has a team that can challenge that team in LA, and I don't think Golden State will be able to say the same.
I agree. I feel like it's a nice little early showing of power. It looks good on tape, I guess, but we won't really know until it fully kicks off. I but I guess it is nice to see a little bit of strength from an Eastern Conference team.
Yeah, I give that to you.
Compared to usual. You know, but it could be worse. It probably could have been way worse. Absolutely.
Yeah, I guess when you really put it that way, it could have been way worse. But it is what it is. I mean, again, I'm not the one to really talk about early season games because I look at it like this. These are tune-up games. When you start getting close to the All-Star break, then the separation really starts happening.
Exactly. Okay, on the next news, Rudy Gobert became the highest paid center in NBA history, signed into a 5-year, $205 million extension. How
Is he worth it?
Listen, the Stifle Tower, I mean, defensively, yeah, I guess he's worth it, but we kind of saw the breakdown of that team a little bit with the COVID issue.
Yeah.
About him joking around with that, and then turns out he's the fire starter for it kicking off in the NBA, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna be honest, I kind of thought that he was gone after that because it kind of seemed like there was a little bit of divide on the issue, especially between him and Donovan Mitchell, who he ended up basically giving it to.
Right.
So I kind of thought that they would pick who they're gonna go with from this point on, and I guess we're still waiting to see the outcome of that move. Maybe they're saying Donovan Mitchell ain't the one.
Well, look, you can follow where the power is by where the money is. Yeah.
Yep.
If Rudy got the check, Donovan's probably gonna get the slip.
Yeah. I mean,
it is what it is.
It's a very good play. He's a very traditional center though.
Yeah.
And very large. I mean, he does have the name Stifle Tower for a reason. Um, I mean, defensively, yeah, he's going to put you there, and that's a pretty defensive team being on the Jazz. So I think it's still a good pickup.
Well, let me
It's
ask you
still a
this.
good, nice little save.
Are the days of the traditional center gone?
I think that it's going to be a bit of a jump back to them.
Okay. Wow.
Because the traditional center, yeah, who plays in the post, right? You it's a little bit rare nowadays. But from what we've seen, the really elite ones kind of are traditional centers. You have Joel Embiid, Rudy Gobert. I mean, I think you're going to see a rise in that because a lot of people aren't guarding that really anymore. So it's going to be interesting to see a big man, play like a Shaq maybe.
Thank you. That's where I was going, because you've seen a shift more to the European style center. Someone who can come out and shoot threes, shoot 18-foot jumpers, play at the top of the key, not really occupy the paint as much.
Yeah, and even with Jokic, he can pass.
Yeah.
He plays basically like a point guard.
But if you have a Shaq in there, JC, are you now, one of those teams that can dominate because now you got a big man who can play with his back to the basket, can take it to the hole, can take you off the hip, and he plays more physical than your typical European style center?
Oh, absolutely, because I don't want to say guaranteed, but almost guaranteed 2 points. You pass it the big man down low. A three is still, even with this 3-ball game that we're in, a low percentage shot.
Especially if you have a center who can shoot free throws. Now you get a higher percentage on that old-fashioned 3.
Exactly. I think we're going to see a little bit of a revival towards it. You're starting to notice, things separate themselves the way out, where people start to want more of a big man type to be playing down in the post.
Yeah, I agree with you.
All right, we got to move fast here.
Let's go.
Kyle Kuzma signs a 3-year, $40 million contract and includes a player option for 2023 and 2024.
Ooh.
I'm hearing a lot of talk about that.
What do you think, though?
I think that it works out for them.
Okay.
Because they made the decision not to move him to New Orleans with the rest of them. And they made the executive decision to keep him. So obviously he works out in their plans. I haven't really seen anything where he's bad for the team necessarily, like a Lonzo who cannot shoot.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna have to go with you on that one, though. Go ahead. I just wanted to be difficult.
Like a Lonzo who can't shoot. I mean, he plays great ball. I mean, for the power forward position. I mean,
yeah,
can't not like him.
No. Man, you're hitting points. Okay.
I'm hitting right. See. Tyronn Lue says he plans to use Kawhi like Kobe and Jordan in triangle sets. Good move or bad move?
Let's see what I think about that. Let's look at Kawhi when he became the dominant player in San Antonio. Let's use him like that.
That's what I'm saying. I think you just have to give him the ball. Even if it doesn't seem like a situation where he should probably have the ball, you saw that in Toronto. He still nailed that final shot and got them a ring.
Kawhi, he's a hybrid player, man. He can play like it reminds me of Magic Johnson of this day. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you good. No, I'm with you. I'm waiting for the final roll up on there.
Okay, 2-minute warning. Look, Kawhi, the way he moves without the ball, and when you give him the ball, he can do so many things with it. He can take you off the dribble. He can set you up for a pick and roll. He can put his back to the basket. He can go for an alley, off the ball. I mean, he can just move. If you needed him to play center, he could jump in there and play it. He could play the 3, the 4. He could play the 1, the 2. There's nothing he really can't do, and he's better than the glove on defense. Maybe because he has size like 78-inch hands, but he's the man on defense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess they won't listen to us, right? But the Magic lock up 2 core pieces of their team. Jonathan Isaacs, 4-year, $80 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming off a torn ACL. Markelle Fultz agreed to a 3-year, $50 million deal. Good moves or bad moves?
The Magic, I'm going to say they're inconsequential, so I'm going to say good moves. No, I honestly think they're making good moves. Hey, go to the league expansion. I saw you guys had that down you wanted to talk about, and we got 30 seconds left. I'm going to let you jump on that.
I was gonna throw that in the hot topic, so let's save that, and we'll have a little bit more time on that.
I like that.
I think the Magic moves pretty nice. They're able to solidify what they feel is the solid core of their team. Markelle Fultz, I think the jury's still out with a lot of people on him about his shot, but he has been improving, which is very important.
Yes,
because he was a top 5, I believe, second pick, right, or first pick.
I think it was his first pick.
First pick. So I believe he has the talent. Make it work. Now we're into the second quarter. I know you're working on your camera real quick.
Gotcha.
The NFL. Falcons blow another lead.
What else?
Tom Brady and the Bucs. I mean,
what else is
you said it. You said it completely right. This is way too many blown leads. I believe this is the second or third blown lead that they've had this season. Maybe even 4th.
It won't be the last.
We're nearing the end here.
It won't be the last. They'll guaranteed for at least one more in these last 2 games.
It seems like they just can't lock it down at the end. They just, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a running game or.
When people ask, what's his name? My goodness, the coach. He was.
Dan.
Yeah.
Not Dan Quinn. Yeah.
When they asked Raheem Morris, when they said, "Hey, y'all gonna blow another lead?" He just sat back, looked at him, and said, "Watch me." He can't help it. He can't help it, bro.
I'm so glad now I know what that James Brown was for. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So Tua and the Dolphins eliminate the Patriots from playoff contention. Tua 20 or 26, 145 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and interception. Now, I'm going to ask you 2 questions here. How are you feeling about the Patriots dynasty going on from here on in? And should the Patriots bring back Cam Newton?
I answered both of those questions.
I mean,
honestly, look, the dynasty, Tom Brady was not the reason for the dynasty. Tom Brady was a great quarterback and a great system. Bill Belichick made you check your ego at the door when you come play in New England. Now, if Tom Brady was the great quarterback and he was responsible for all these Super Bowls, they would have been in the playoffs last year. They would have been in the championship last year. There's a reason why Tom was so eager at this point to leave and go to a team that was willing to put all these pieces together and had the cap room and had the wherewithal to be able to pull all these players into Tampa. And you see by Tom's play right now that he is no longer Tom Terrific. So
absolutely.
Do you bring Cam back? To be honest, go get Colin Kaepernick. But since you're not going to do that, you bring Cam back and you try to get a top 5 quarterback, which there's so many out there this year in the draft.
I think that they're probably gonna play the field like they usually do because Belichick's really about those low key moves. So maybe later in the draft, we see somebody get a little picked up
Listen,
because
you got some quarterbacks that you can miss on. They're not going to be around.
you're absolutely correct. Absolutely. Um, the dynasty, I think the dynasty ended last year. I don't think it ended this year.
Right.
I mean, once the primary core, yes, Tom Brady was not a full part, but Tom Brady was still a part.
Oh, yeah.
A cog. I feel like once he left, dynasty was over. If something were to happen again, this would be the start of a new dynasty, a little neo Patriots dynasty. But that dynasty is over for me. As soon as Tom Brady was like, "Yeah, I'm going to Tampa," done. Um,
Really?
next, yeah, in my opinion. And next, we got Buffalo secured the NFC East. Whoa!
That's right. That's right. We got a challenge flag. Yes. Yes. And yeah, just in case, let me go ahead and mute him. All right, I got a minute. All right, so I believe. Stop looking around that flag. I believe that the dynasty ended before last year, but not completely. I don't believe the dynasty ended because 12 left the building. I believe they were fortunate in a lot of games. There were a couple Super Bowls that he didn't really show up in all the way, but they were able to pull out, especially, excuse me, that last one against the Rams. But when you look at Tom's play over the last 5 years, it hasn't been 16 consistent games. You started looking at 14 games, 12 consistent games, and then it was the people around him. Remember, he had running backs like LeGarrette Blount, Kevin Falk. I mean, he had some really good guys to hand the ball off to. Danny Woodhead. And then you have receivers. You got Amendola. You got Julian Edelman. Don't forget, you got Moss was there for a while. So when I look, I don't think the dynasty is completely dead as long as Belichick is ready to retool and revamp and let's go. So, all right, my challenge is over. But yes.
He's always going to retool and revamp. I'm just saying, I believe that dynasty ended, and a neo dynasty could take its place.
But let me ask you a question based on that. Because I believe the San Antonio Spurs were a dynasty. From the first championship with Tim Duncan and David Robinson, all the way through to the last championship with Tim Duncan and an aging... I keep calling him Eva Longoria, but I think it's Tony Parker is his name. Yeah, correct. So I believe a dynasty spans, and it doesn't, if they don't win another one before Belichick leaves, then yes, we can look back and say, here's where the dynasty died. But if they do win another one in the next 4 or 5 years, and he's still at the helm, I think you got to stretch that dynasty out.
Well, I will give you that.
As
a history major, I'll give you that. I'm gonna save mine. But you know what? No, throw the flag.
Oh!
Throw the flag.
I'm throwing the flag on myself. Ain't that nothing?
I think that dynasties come to either sudden ends or they come to crumbling ends when we look to the Roman Empire, such, right? Okay. Or even, and I know this as a history major, Charlemagne, right? Charlemagne's dynasty technically ended once his throne went down and his son split up the kingdom. Yeah, don't be looking around my challenge flag, right? So now you done lost the core pieces. The core pieces. Once, and I'll go to the Spurs with this, even though we're on the NFL, you lost your core piece. Once they retired, went somewhere else. I know about 2-minute warning. Once they retired, went something else, you lost those core pieces. The dynasty ended right there. Now, Popovich is still in the Spurs. He's still with the Spurs now. but nobody's saying that the dynasty hasn't ended. So why can't that happen for Bill Belichick? I'm good. I'm all right. We gonna move on. Final little hot things. Buffalo
even
secured
argue
the
with that.
AFC
That
East
was
for
a
the
good
first
challenge.
time in 1995.
What happened?
Buffalo secures the AFC East for the first time in 1995. How you feeling?
They're a good team. I hate to give Buffalo anything. I think the best thing out of Buffalo were Buffalo chips. That was it. Not even the wings. Just, I mean, and you know what Buffalo chips are. That's not something you can eat. Right.
That's not something.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're a good team. I ain't gonna lie. And it's hard to play in Orchard Park in the winter.
In the dead of war. Oh, yes.
You haven't felt cold unless you sit on that water in that ballpark. I've known too many people that have had to do it, bro. Buffalo's gonna have a distinct advantage if they're able to hold court and have most of their games at home in the playoffs.
Yep. Now, two things. Ravens hitting their stride at the right time.
Yes.
Steelers lose another one, hitting their stride at the wrong time.
Ooh, yeah, they shouldn't have been undefeated, and they were finally exposed, and now you see why. Our quarterback's a little bit old.
I mean, I've been saying it this whole time. I don't think they're as good as what their record indicated. I just felt like their schedule was a bit easier. You know, they were able to get lucky with some final end of the quarter things, and then third quarter hit. All right, so now we're on the NCAA, right? Working on your camera. Now, the playoff top four for this week: Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, Notre Dame. What do you make of it?
I don't know if you really want my opinion on this. It's a travesty, to be honest with you. It's a travesty, and I won't move off of this because these top four don't deserve to be in there the way they are right now. This is not a true top four best schools in college football. And if you want to take the beginning of this and I can come back in, it's up to you. But I'm telling you, I'm not moving off this point. Notre Dame got blown out in the conference championship game against Clemson, but because they're in South Bend, they're in. Ohio State plays 6 games, counting the conference championship. I believe they're the best team in college football, but I don't believe they belong in there. Not when you have a 10-0 or 11-0 Cincinnati team who has just destroyed everybody.
Coastal Carolina.
Correct. Coastal Carolina. I just don't believe they belong in there. Is that me?
I believe so. But I was almost ready to throw my challenge flag for you so that you could have that time. Yeah. Alabama, darn near lost. Clemson has looked powerful. Ohio State have not played enough games. By no means have played enough games, in my opinion. Notre Dame, blown out by Clemson. I mean, the way that the Final Four shakes out, it really shows you who the favorites are. The favored sons of college football. Yes. I mean, Ohio State, unfortunately, when it went to a committee to vote about whether they would be even allowed in the conference championship, we kind of all knew. We had the stinking feeling that Ohio State was going to get in there. We had the stinking feeling that they were going to sneak into the playoffs despite playing half as many games. So I don't like it. I think it's absolutely endangering to true college football. You have a bunch of teams who have played a lot harder. I mean, if you're going to let Notre Dame in, why not let Texas A&M in?
I mean, to be honest with you, but they have one loss. If Notre Dame had a loss, if Alabama had a loss to Florida, they already said they were still going to be in.
Exactly. And that's such And the only problem with Texas A&M is that they're come from the same side as Alabama.
Right, right. Here's what I feel is going to happen, Josh. And I could be wrong on this, JC. I could. But I don't think I am. I believe, truly, you're going to have some schools in the Pac 12 and in the Big 12, in the Mid America Conference, and some of these other conferences are going to leave the NCAA. And they're going to either go to the NAIA or they're going to create their own division, their own conference. But I believe they're going to leave the NCAA. And I believe when that happens, you're going to get the fans that will follow and get a true sense of a true champion. What up, JB? Notre Dame shouldn't be in there. Neither should Ohio State. All right, J Peeps. I hear you. So your computer's working now, huh?
Well, listen, we got other bowl games, right? We got the Cotton Bowl, Florida versus Oklahoma. How you feeling about that?
These games shouldn't be happening. Not in a COVID pandemic situation. But since they're happening, I believe if Florida gets out of their own way, they should win. But if they keep shooting themselves in the foot like throwing shoes 20 yards down the field, Oklahoma's going to get them.
Bad time management, same. Peach Bowl, Cincinnati versus Georgia.
Cincinnati.
I want Cincinnati. I'd love to see it. Fiesta Bowl, Oregon, Iowa State.
Oh, man. Iowa State.
I think it's a good one, but I like Iowa State.
Yeah. I'm going with Iowa State on that.
Orange Bowl, Texas A&M versus North Carolina. Now, I'm very interested to see how the two running backs from North Carolina can handle that.
Yeah, I like Kellen Mond. This is a tough one because if North Carolina just puts their foot on the gas and just opens up Texas A&M and runs up the middle and runs out, it just keeps pounding and pounding and pounding, I think they'll wear Texas A&M out. But I think Texas A&M overall is a better team.
My thoughts exactly. I'm going to go Texas A&M by a close one. Cheez-It Bowl, Miami, Oklahoma State.
That's the Who Care Bowl.
Exactly. Bowl. You ready for this? Oklahoma State, get out of here, Miami. All right, Cure Bowl.
I'm going with Miami.
Really?
Yes. Just because it doesn't matter who wins. Go ahead.
Cure Bowl, Liberty versus Coastal Carolina. Now, Coastal Carolina, I feel like should have been in a bigger bowl.
Yeah.
But I got Coastal Carolina.
Liberty's been spanking people this year, though.
They have, which is going to make it a wonderful game, and it's going to make it look even better when Coastal Carolina wins.
I really want to see Coastal Carolina win because I want to see what happens if they go undefeated next year.
Absolutely. Liberty Bowl, Army versus West Virginia.
Army.
Now, this is interesting. Army.
Army.
And I don't think anybody would have considered that a couple years ago.
No. At the beginning of this year.
Or even the beginning of this year, yeah. Army's replacing Tennessee in that game. Mm-hmm. So, final 3 minutes. This is perfect. Who deserves to win the Heisman?
We didn't get to the BYU game, but okay, who deserves to win the Heisman? To be honest with you, and I'm going with his body of work since he's been in college. I don't know though, man. That's a tough one. I want to say Justin Fields, but I like that kid out of Buffalo, the running back. How many other people got 8 touchdowns in a game and 408 yards rushing in one game? And could have had more and broken the record, but his coach took him out with over 2 minutes left to go. But I know he won't get it. But I believe he should be in the running for that. Just because of all the yards he's had this year.
Okay. Now, this is a bit controversial, and I'm a bit angry at saying this, knowing.
Don't you say Kyle Trask.
I'm saying it. I'm gonna say it. And you know what? Go to challenge flag. I want you out of here.
No.
I want to argue this. Kyle Trask has been lighting it up, despite the fact that his own team is costing him a playoff. I would like to say that. Kyle Trask has lit it up. He had over 400 yards in the Alabama game. I mean, geez, when have we seen somebody absolutely torch Alabama in such a way? Pause for dramatic effect.
No,
Now, no, I challenge you. Hold on, you ain't here.
How do you challenge me on your own comment?
I threw a challenge flag because I want to talk. Now, Kyle Trask, if it wasn't for the singular fact that shoe was thrown, or that his coach called a timeout at the exact wrong time he should have, Kyle Trask will be top on this list. No questions. Kyle Trask has not done anything to not get the Heisman. His team around him has. But since when does being available to be a champion ever decided who became Heisman?
Ask
I thought
Steve
it was
McNair.
about who was the
Ask
who was
Steve McNair. Steve McNair was the best quarterback, the best player in college football, but they said because he played at Alcorn State and didn't play against D1 competition on a regular basis, he didn't deserve to win. So, yeah, that has happened before.
I'm not saying that that's right. I'm saying that's wrong. I'm agreeing with you on that. But we're in our hot topic tonight. I get a little zoom in on this. I like this. Yes.
Okay.
I get a little zoom in on this. So
Wow, wait a minute,
now
check
we're in our
this
hot
out.
topics.
How did this happen?
While he works on that, we're in our hot topics. FAMU is patiently waiting for the schedule to be released. Now
I got me a
we
background.
know who the opening is.
I'm
Nice
saying.
room. We know who the opening is. We know the Florida Classic is at the end. We know FAMU travels to Tampa to face off against USF. But who would be the homecoming opponent for FAMU? And I have a hint here. It's a team from the SWAC West.
Okay. I'm not good at playing guessing games, so please let me know.
You know, I think Peeps knew.
He did know.
Listen, I don't know. I'm going to guess probably Alcorn or something like that. But I'm unsure. We don't have our expert here right now, so we're we're gonna leave that at a draw. But NHL puck drop is January 13th. Early favorite to take or retake the Stanley Cup.
Hold on. He said
Emphasis
Mac
on
Jones
the
might take it. Because he plays
Mac
at Alabama.
Jones?
Yeah.
Oh,
Mike Jones.
Listen,
I'm sorry, Mac Jones.
this is why we.
Yeah.
You know what? I see why you ain't here.
Yeah.
It makes
You'd have been
complete
challenging
sense.
him the whole show.
It makes complete sense now. But
Uh,
NHL puck drop is January 13th. Early
Tampa Bay
favorite
Lightning.
to take or
Tampa Bay
retake.
Lightning.
Yeah, I like to see it. And it's unfortunate that the best team in Tampa, in a southern state where it's hot most of the time, is a hockey team.
Right.
I'm going to get off my soapbox here. That's
No,
kind of
but
shameful.
look.
But it's also amazing because Tampa, we don't have a basketball team, and we'll get there in the end of this hot topic section.
Okay. All right. But I like the Lightning to do it because they just seem to reload. They're consistent. They can skate. They do smooth changes. They play good defense, and they have great puck movement. So and they get hot at the right times of the year. So
Absolutely, and especially now that they've decided who the divisions are going to be. And we talked about that before about the Tampa Bay Lightning bully everybody division. I mean, it's going to be very enjoyable if you're a Tampa Bay Lightning fan this year. So now I got one thing. You can take all your time on this before we get into that last thing for the NBA. What's the one thing you want Santa to bring your favorite team for Christmas?
Y'all are so wrong for this. Some receivers that will hold on to the ball. That's that's what I want the Ravens to get for Christmas. I want the Ravens to be able to hold the ball so the defense can rest. That's what I want them to get. Pittsburgh, I want them to bring the coach and the GM a different mindset and realize that Ben Roethlisberger was a great quarterback. He'll probably go in the Hall of Fame, but right now he needs to be like on a walker, not on the field. So that's just how I feel. And I had to really use my subtle voice for it. So I don't want people to
Now,
think I'm angry.
I'm gonna hurt your feelings here
Come on.
with
Hey,
your
be
wish.
careful now. Be careful because you
With your
know.
wish
I got
for the
soul
Ravens.
and I'm super bad.
So be careful. Be
Now,
careful.
with your wish for the Ravens,
Uh-huh.
you don't want a quarterback who can throw the ball more consistently?
Nope.
Ha! Wow.
I'm good with Lamar Jackson.
No
And
rebuttal?
if he didn't get hurt coming in on a dirt off the bench, I'm good with Trace McSorley.
You know what? I won't lie. That's a nice quarterback room y'all got going on over there. It's very enviable, I will say. But for my favorite team
Who
for
is?
Christmas, Seattle, I would like a return, and I'm gonna look the camera in the eye for this so America can see this. Legion of Boom Part Two, please. I I don't know what it is recently, but I look
Just
up to
do a
God
self close up.
and I see that the defense just ain't the same no more. And I understand Marshawn Lynch is gone. The Legion of Boom is dismantled and gone, right? And we're all about relying on Russell Wilson. But please, can we get a defense? I want to go back to when we were smacking people. I loved it. It was beautiful to me. You know, wonderful. So please, Santa, I already sent you 3 letters. So just just answer that, please. And if anybody's watching this and you want to say what you hope that your favorite team for Santa to bring them, let us know. Uh, Messages, unless it's after Christmas and you're seeing this later. Don't talk to me about Christmas because I probably got socks. Um,
Watch me.
Watch me.
Yes.
But on to the thing that I really want to talk about
Uh
and
oh.
get on a soapbox about
Uh oh.
right now. The NBA has announced that they are looking into expansion teams. Now, when this came up about 6 months, maybe about a year ago, we were talking about expansion teams, and the league was like, "No, we're not in an expansionist mood." And now all of a sudden, the waters seem prime. Anything you want to say about that?
Yes. What's going to
Are you
really
going to say
help
the same thing I'm going to say?
is the fact that Tampa is hosting Toronto. So that's re- that's really what's going to help. Um, I think the NBA understand that they really need to expand. Um, sorry, it it should have expanded before now. You have some really good markets. I think Tampa was due a team a long time ago. They were due a team before Orlando, but I understand. You got the Amway billionaires. That's how they pulled them over to Orlando, and then you got Disney. But I do believe there's some states that really deserve one. I'm gonna let you comment on this, and then I'm gonna come back on the end because I know you're gonna throw the challenge flag at my next statement. So go ahead.
I may not. 2 minute warning though, and I will say that the Toronto move is gonna really be able to put Tampa on the pedestal there, and it's gonna be able to show that with with an NBA team that they would still be able to generate sales because a win over Jackson State week one, interesting.
No,
Wow,
no. A win over Jackson State week one,
win
a
over,
win over
win over
BCU, and a swag
BCU and
title is
swag.
what I want. Keep going, JC.
We'll talk about that later, maybe after the air. But I will say that this is going to be able because everyone that I've talked to has always said Tampa is a confusing market, and what they always look at is the Rays. They say the Rays are a bad example of what the market could do, but a good example is the Lightning. Uh, The Bucks, wishy washy, but I will say that if you do bring a team to Tampa and they are in Tampa, you're going to sell tickets. And I mean, you see that especially now with Toronto moving here
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know about you, but I've seen people trying to get tickets to be able to go see that game. So I'll cede the last 30 to you.
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly. I believe Tampa is a prime market. I also believe Baltimore should get a team because every time Washington wanted a team, they just moved them from Baltimore. The Baltimore, the Capitals used to play in Baltimore, moved them to Washington. The Wizards were the Baltimore Bullets, won a title, moved them to Washington. So I believe Baltimore is the other market I believe that will be prime and ready for an NBA team. Oh, look,
Oh, well, we're into our little post game section here. Anything you want to say while I
yeah, that producer was rude for cutting me off while I was talking about Baltimore, but that's okay.
crazy guy?
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
Baltimore is, I don't know. You guys had the Colts, right? And then it went to the Ravens.
I want to throw a challenge brick at
A
you.
brick?
Yes, we did
I,
have the Colts. Um, and they left in the middle of the night like some punks, but that's okay.
that's why I brought it up.
So,
But I
but
will say thank you for watching the show. Please join us again. We're on every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Penalty Talk, on Instagram at Throw Flags. Don't forget to look for us on Spotify, YouTube, Penalty Talk, the Run and Gun podcast. And if you need anything, you want to reach out to us, don't forget to email us at flagontheplaysports at gmail.com. And
thank you for letting me join in. And to finish off, Baltimore did have a Grey Cup champion as well, the Baltimore Stallions with Tracy Ham as quarterback.
I'm going to save my last 10 seconds and not use Baltimore slander because I do not want to get fought at the end of this. But y'all have a wonderful time, all right?